And good afternoon. Coming on here with breaking news. I'm Tracy Sinclair, of course, with me, our chief meteorologist, Melissa Fry. We've been speaking about the Suicide Basin glacial release. It's an annual event. We've been talking about it coming, and it has begun.
Yeah, it was historic the last 2 years, and now we expect this to be even more historic. So the lake has never been 16 feet or higher, and river forecasters are expecting this to be at about 16 and a half feet. So again, even though this has become an annual event, it's really just been the last 2 years that we've seen this widespread inundating flooding, and now we're expecting not only that, but perhaps more extreme than even what we've experienced before. And if you're not familiar with this event, this flooding has taken homes into the rivers. It's a really significant flooding event, so we want you to be safe first of all, and we're going to give you that information so that you know what to do to stay safe.
And we're already dealing with, already this morning there was a flood advisory out for the Mendenhall Lake and Mendenhall River due to heavy rains. So now this is just more water going into that same already heightened space.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's pull up the map for you first of all, so you can see the area that we're talking about. Again, this is in the Mendenhall Valley, sitting below Mendenhall Lake and Glacier, which is just to the northeast of downtown Juneau. Everywhere highlighted in red has been told to evacuate, to leave now. We are expecting these areas to be underwater by tomorrow afternoon. So zooming in here so you can see some of this area. This is the Mendenhall River and the banks alongside of it. Now, what they had done is they had put in some flood barriers, and that is expected to help with some of the flooding. This is a new thing. They just installed them last month, so we are going to get a real-time test of how they work. But all the areas here highlighted in red are expected to be underwater at this time tomorrow afternoon. Now I'm going to turn off those barriers so you can see the difference that is expected to make. You can see all of these areas highlighted in red. These are the areas that the city and borough of Juneau is asking you to evacuate now. So all of these streets that you see here, we'll zoom in a little closer. If you are in this area and you're familiar with your street, your neighborhood, all of these homes, all of these blocks have been told to evacuate now to prepare for the expected historic flooding, again, that is expected to happen now tomorrow afternoon. So because the basin has released, because that drain at the bottom of the basin has been pulled, we now are seeing water beginning to fill into Mendenhall Lake, and all of these areas are expected to be underwater. Now I'm going to turn these barriers back on for you so you can see the difference that makes. So that is a significant difference if they work as they are designed to work. So we are not expecting them to work to their full capacity, just because we have not seen that tested in real time. So that is why the city and borough of Juneau is asking all of these communities here, all of these homes and neighborhood along Mendenhall River to evacuate now. And they do have evacuation centers and information of where you can go. Red Cross is already setting up evacuation areas, so there are places to go. They have places to put your vehicles and your pets. They have this well planned out because we knew it was coming.
And so one of the things that I wanted to ask about, because the flood warning actually only goes until 9:15 tomorrow morning, but we're not expecting the crest to hit until maybe 9 tomorrow morning. And so it'll continue on past that.
Yeah.
What do you expect with that 9:15 time?
So that'll be extended. That flood warning, I would just ignore that 9:15 time. It's likely high water will continue well into Wednesday evening. So just ignore that 9:15 time. That's just the end date that they have to put on it, but it will likely be extended as we head into Wednesday afternoon. And let's go ahead and pull up the weather graphics if we can. I just want to show again where this specifically is. Again, the glacial release has already begun. River forecasters tell me that likely happened late last night. It was hard to tell because of how much rain was filling this area, kind of masked what was coming from Suicide Basin versus what was just regular rain water, but major flooding is expected. They do know now that the glacial release has begun. You need to evacuate in that 17 inundation zone that we just showed you, and water is expected to crest around sometime Wednesday. Right now it's looking like it actually could be closer to Wednesday afternoon. So again, here's what that looks like. This is a basin. It's just full of rainwater, snow melt, glacial melt, but this basin is dammed by Mendenhall Glacier down below and some ice. It has a plug on it, and so the water has nowhere to go until that ice sort of breaks through, which has happened the last 2 years at this time. And once that plug is pulled, all of that water drains just like a bathtub, and it has nowhere else to go except for into Mendenhall Lake and into Mendenhall River. And I just want to give you this timeline to sort of explain how this works. This is what happened last year. The basin was full on August 1st, and then we started to see the water rising. That's what's going to happen today. So that's where we are, that first sort of time stamp. But then we started to see debris in the river about 24 hours later as trees were knocked down, erosion was happening along those riverbanks. And then by the following day, water was into homes, and we were seeing widespread flooding, but that crust didn't happen until Tuesday morning. So the luxury of this situation is that, one, it's happened before, so we know kind of what to expect, but also it's a long duration event. So the tough thing about a long duration event is it's not going to be over tonight or tomorrow. This is going to take several days, but the good news is you know what's coming. You have today to evacuate, to prepare, to get to a safe location before that water starts to push into homes and into those neighborhoods. So take this seriously.
Yes, and when the way the National Weather Service phrased it earlier today was that water levels will go above major flood stage around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So not
Yes.
cresting. I apologize, that was my error. Not cresting at 9 o'clock, but they will go above major flood stage about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, which is why they're asking people to evacuate today. We also have the hydrograph. Would you be able to explain that to us? Here, it's right there.
Yes, so everything that you see here in blue, that blue bold line, is an observation. So that is where Mendenhall River is, and this is downriver, so this is quite a ways away from Suicide Basin and from Mendenhall Lake. But you can see it was already into action stage yesterday, pushing into that minor flood stage last night. So this was before even receiving any of the water from Suicide Basin. So it was already running high, just because it normally is this time of year, and then also we've had that big rain event. Now what you see in the purple line with the dots along the way is what river forecasters are expecting to happen. Now they have a lot of data, a lot of information, and have done significant research on this particular river, so I do expect that this is a really well done forecast. So you can see those tick marks going up here over the next 24 to 36 hours, and we get to that crest level right now looking at about 16 and a half feet, which would be a record. We have never seen it that high, expecting to happen around 4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. Now it does drop relatively quickly because this is one source of water. Again, if we use that bathtub analogy, this is one source of water. All of that water, which is, I'll have to get the numbers for you, but we're talking tens of thousands of gallons of water, perhaps even into the millions of gallons of water that is going to come rushing into the river at once. But once it's done, it's done. So that's why that purple line drops off so quickly. That's why the water will likely recede quickly. But if you remember from previous years, I mean, people were using kayaks and canoes, blocks from the river to try and get to their homes and to try and evacuate. That's the situation we don't want to be in tomorrow. And that's why you do need to evacuate today.
And so, also, explain to me a little bit, we talk about it being a bathtub. Well, when I pull my bathtub plug, it goes pretty fast. But this isn't it's a huge rush of water, but it's not all at once. How long does it take to actually empty the basin? Because it's so much water.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, relatively speaking, it's not that long. It's basically that purple line going up. So from now until Wednesday afternoon, by the time we get into Thursday, the water will be drained. So 24 to 36 hours for that to fill in. And we can pull up this live picture for you of what the river looks like downstream. This is an image that's taken every few minutes. You can see the water is high. And again, there is no water at this point from Suicide Basin, or I shouldn't say no, there's very little water at this point from Suicide Basin this far downstream. So this is why this is such a serious event and why that flood warning is in effect. And again, we're just seeing, ticking through
some
here.
previous images from earlier today.
Yeah, there's the rain
There's
that
the
we've
rain.
been seeing, overnight, even into early this morning. That rain is tapering off today. The good news there is that it's going to be sunny and warm, and temperatures are going to be up to 70 degrees this afternoon in Juneau. So the rain is done, so that's some saving grace there. But yes, this water will be a lot higher, and this image will look very different 24 hours from now into 36 hours from now. I do want to just pull up that evacuation map again. If you are just joining us, we will pull this up here for you so you can see the inundation zone. Again, the reason we are on the air with this breaking news is Suicide Basin, which sits way up here. Let me just zoom out and use this map for you. Okay, so this is Mendenhall Glacier. That's the famous glacier. You know, cruise ship passengers head out there to visit it. But up here, this is Suicide. I think you can see my mouse. Yeah, okay. This is Suicide Glacier, and in here below this is this basin. And this is just an area that's off to the side of Mendenhall Glacier. That's that bathtub that we've been talking about, that basin that just fills with water. It fills with glacial water, it fills with snow melt, and it fills with rainwater all summer long until it's full. And just because of pressure, there's a little plug, a little ice plug underneath here that we cannot see. It's covered in ice, but that plug just releases because of the pressure. And all the water then fills underneath the ice. It's kind of an eerie, trippy thing, but that water goes underneath this ice of Mendenhall Glacier into Mendenhall Lake. And so this is the lake that fills up. This is the gauge that we're watching. They do have a laser gauge there. They have great accuracy with this, and this is what they're watching, that water rising. So this is what forecasters are looking at through the night, literally watching this, for the past 24 hours, watching this just tick up and up and up. And so see if I can go backwards one. This is it.
Nope, there you go.
There we go. We can open a new page for us. Okay. So the basin here again fills down into the lake, and then everything you see here in red is that 17-foot stage. So where they are expecting this to reach again is about 16 and a half feet. Last year the crest was 15.99. So never in recorded history has it reached 16 feet. So this is a new thing. It's expected to be even about a half a foot above that. Everything that you see here in red is in that evacuation zone. So this is a very localized area right along the banks here of Mendenhall River. But you can see that this does extend several blocks inland. You can see all of these homes here are under that evacuation advisory to evacuate. This does include the main road here, Riverside Drive, even extending here to the south and east of Riverside Drive. So all of these homes are told to evacuate today. Today is the day to do this. And as we come down, this is the high school, Thunder Mountain High School. It sits up a little bit higher, but you can see the football field is expected to be underwater, and these surrounding areas all along it, all the way down to Egan Drive.
And it is interesting on that map that as you hover over it, it gives you an estimation of how much water depth that you're expecting. And, a foot of water, 2 feet of water is quite dramatic. It's that, and very likely in some cases will make it into your homes. So definitely, if you are in this area, they are recommending that some of that 4 feet, that's a lot of water coming in. They are going to decide tomorrow, I believe, as they track it, whether they cancel school on Thursday. So we will keep track on that and let you know if we have any additional information about if they are going to be canceling schools due to this.
And what a way to start school. They're starting just like Anchorage schools are this week. First day of school, yes, likely they are going to advise that it is canceled should there be flooding in this area. Understandably so. That would be a difficult thing to try and get your kids to school when your home is underwater. So stay tuned for that. I do want to just quickly give you some information here on shelters. The Red Cross shelter is available at Floyd Dryden Gymnasium, Mendenhall Loop Road. You can get information about how to evacuate at Juneau Flood Ready. The shelter evacuated for prepared for pets is available from Juneau Animal Rescue. If you need that information, their phone number is 907-789-6997. Again, if you're looking for a place to evacuate your pets to, the Juneau Animal Rescue will help you there because the Red Cross is not able to accommodate their pets there. Now, here are some specific evacuation routes to avoid congestion and road and bridge closures. They're asking you to follow these evacuation routes to move residents north of Division Street, travel north on Riverside Drive, back to Mendenhall Loop Road, and then out of the inundation area. If you are south of Division Street, travel south on Riverside Drive and turn left on Stephen Richards Memorial Drive back toward Mendenhall Loop Road. If you are on River Courtway, travel south of Riverside Drive toward Egan Drive. On the west side of Mendenhall River, travel back west to Mendenhall Loop Road. So basically what you're trying to do is find the safest way back to Mendenhall Loop Road here to get out of the area. All of this information is available on our website at alaskasnewssource.com. We have a live blog going. We'll continue to keep that updated here through the day.
And some of the things that, just to kind of put it in perspective, if we're expecting 16.6, a rise of 16.6 feet, at 12 feet, you will see significant bank erosion along the river of unreinforced riverbanks. And just that dramatic footage from, I believe 2 years ago, where the river just undercut a house and actually took out a home that was along the river. So again, a good possibility that we will see more erosion with this, particularly since it is going to be above that is what it is expected. And then at 15 feet, major flooding of multiple homes along View Drive. The water will begin approaching homes on River Road. So these are all below the expected stage. So you definitely want to, if you are in these areas of pink, you want to be preparing to evacuate. That is the recommendation.
Yeah, you can see here how Mendenhall Loop Road more or less is not in the evacuation zone. That is in a safe area. It is not expected to be underwater until you get all the way up to the visitor center. So that is a safe road to travel on. If you need to get out of Mendenhall Valley, you can take Mendenhall Loop Road all the way down to Egan Drive, and then you're just finding your safest way out of there. Hopefully, again, we are not seeing water inundating these streets yet. So the hope is that you are out of there today so that you are not needing to evacuate while there is high water. Now, if we pull up the basin video for you again, just to show you how this basin was filling here over the past, couple of weeks. Move this forward so you can see it from the beginning. That's the water that is filling, has been for the past couple of weeks, and that is what is now starting to release. So this is the source of water. You can see there's icebergs and chunks of ice there on top, but underneath that is all water, and that is the water that is expected to move here into Mendenhall Valley and to Mendenhall River here over the coming days. So that is what you want to be prepared for, again, as we continue to see the water levels rise as that Suicide Basin releases. Now, available at alaskasnewssource.com. We do have this live blog available. So if you want to take a closer look at those inundation maps, we have those links here. We have the information of what it looked like previous years. If you want to go back, see some of that video that Tracy was talking about. Again, we do already have state and local disaster declarations in place from the city and borough of Juneau, and also from Governor Dunleavy. Those were in place over the weekend. So this is something that we have been preparing for. Again, last year we had never seen anything like what we saw when the river crested at about just shy of 16 feet, and now it's expected to be about a half a foot above that. So again, this is unprecedented territory once again, but for the third year in a row that we have reached that level. So we're going to keep these resources available for you on alaskasnewssource.com. We'll keep this updated all day with the latest information, so you can keep checking back on this as the water rises. Again, we're going to stay with you. This is going to be the next 36 hours that we will continue to monitor this very closely until we see that water rising.
So if we get more news, we will jump back on here and bring it to you directly. Also, as we said, we'll continue to update that live blog on alaskasnewssource.com, and keep with us for our newscast, and of course all day long on our digital resources, including our streaming platforms. Thank you for joining us. And if you are in the area, please, they're recommending that you evacuate. Please keep yourself and your family safe.
Properties. And with certain investments, we can bring those properties that have been allowed to deteriorate. Old properties.
You're going to have the State Department and the Secret Service.
Old properties don't have to be bad properties. And with certain investments, we can bring those properties that have been allowed to deteriorate or become vacant and abandoned